I'm always on the lookout for roguelikes. Chances are, if a roguelike is any good, I've probably played it, or at least heard about it. And though there are a ton of amazing roguelikes that released in the past few months, none of them really surprised me. Until one day, a mysterious shadow organization sent me mail by carrier pigeon asking if I wanted to play their game. I get hundreds of these emails a week, but one thing made this email stand out far above the rest. A single word that was basically a guarantee that this roguelike was gonna be amazing. And that word is BlazBlue. Yes, BlazBlue, the fighting game giant, decided to make a roguelike. And they asked me to make a video on it. I guess you could say your boy's moving up. This roguelike blew my expectations out of the water. With so many deep mechanics, you'd think an auto repair shop fell into a sinkhole. A lot of mechanic jokes recently, huh? So let me introduce you to BlazBlue Entropy Effect. And be sure to check it out, because they were nice enough to sponsor this video. Okay, elephant in the room, this game is gorgeous. This game is so pretty that if I saw it at a club, I would get nervous. If you ever see me dropping a combo, it's because I couldn't see through the tears because the art style had me actively weeping the entire time. Though there are so many things this title does differently, the game shines the hardest when you look at the controls. BlazBlue is a fighting game, so they decided to make their roguelike play like a fighting game. You have light attacks, heavy attacks, air attacks, special moves, dash attacks, assists, and all of these can be enhanced with the potential skill system, which is a fancy upgrade you find every now and again with the potential to change your combos. Oh my god, that's why they call it that. Since this game functions so much like a fighting game, the potential upgrades matter a ton, because they act as a way to extend combos, creating an extra layer of depth whenever you get a potential upgrade. This also makes your ability to be creative that much more rewarding. It sounds confusing, but I'll show you. This run, I naturally didn't have a great way to extend into my air attack, but I found a potential move that gave me an ascending strike, which allowed me to add another 2 hits into my combo. Armored characters gave me a hard time, but through a potential upgrade, I got a jumping pile driver which knocked them down. Then, with another potential move that's not too great on its own because it leaves you vulnerable since it's so slow, I chained my knockdown into a hyper slash to get maximum damage while being relatively safe. There's also a ton of potential skill synergies that unlock when you combine the right potentials, which can make you pretty OP if you roll into the best setup. Now keep in mind, this is just how the potential upgrades work. There are other level up upgrades you get which just enhance what you have. Passive fireballs that launch when you use a skill, chain lightning on certain abilities, and other upgrades that are very typical for a normal roguelike. This all kinda sounds like it's rocket science, and you're right. This is one of the hardest roguelikes I've played in the last 2 years, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And at least when you die, it's beautiful, so you have something to look at when you're getting your teeth punched down your throat. Having to redefine your playstyle every single time you receive a potential skill makes the skill ceiling really high. But in the few hours I spent playing this game, I've already developed so many folds in my massive brain to pull off spectacular combos with the right setup. And it actually triggers the same monkey part of my brain that lights up when you beat someone in a fighting game. Oh, by the way, there are currently 7 characters in the game, all of which play completely different from one another. And when I say different, I mean different. From entirely new combo strings, mechanics, special moves, hell, all of their potential upgrades are even different. The 3 characters I've played so far are Hibiki, the starter character who's relatively very fast and well-rounded, Ragna, a much slower, higher damage character who can lifesteal with his special moves at the cost of his health, making you really think about when to use these instead of just throwing them out like candy, and of course, Noelle, a ranged character that I thought I'd be able to use for an easy clear, but believe it or not, this is the first roguelike where range doesn't make you overpowered. Like, she has to do a lot of work to get her damage out. She may even be kind of ass, if I'm being honest, but at least she looks cool. Though I haven't played the other characters on the roster yet, I find myself rotating between these 3 quite frequently, because they're all unique but still play really well. Ragna's hits feel powerful, and landing a massive swing that gives you a ton of health back is genuinely satisfying. Hibiki is lightning fast, and of the three has the most dynamic combos, allowing him to do an insane amount of damage if you can space your skills correctly. And Noelle, though weaker than the other two, has a ton of options to deal damage from anywhere on the screen. Potential skills allow her to throw her gun, shoot directly downwards, reload her special move, use a bazooka, or whatever else. It really says a lot when a game can force you to try out all of the content instead of forcing you into a corner to decide on your main. The characters are also kind of hard to unlock, so I find myself constantly excited to see a new face whenever I get the ability to do so. And you can see a trailer of each character's skill set before unlocking them, so you can make the right choice when you have the currency. Now that we've talked about the combat in the game and how it's so unique, I want to zoom out and talk about how this game takes the roguelike formula and puts it through the Willy Wonka everlasting gobstopper machine. Though runs function like other roguelikes with branching paths, rooms to fight enemies, shops, gamble rooms, boss fights, repeat, one thing this game does differently is the entropy effect. That's in the title of the game. Every time you go into a new room, you're gaining entropy, which is mainly a bad thing. The higher the entropy is, the larger chance that some random debuff occurs. Think about it as a poison, except instead of you getting weaker, the world is actively getting worse. You basically want to keep this low unless you want a challenge or you're a masochist, and to do so, you either have to purchase entropy reduction from the shop, roll a reduction in the slot machine, or most commonly go to a rest area and lower it there. To make things a little bit more challenging, the later stages of the run give you more entropy every single room, meaning you either have to spam rest stops to keep your entropy low at the expense of shops and rewards, or you can just tank it and deal with whatever Satan gives you. It's a very unique mechanic which changes the way you think about which rooms you'll enter and adds a layer of nervousness the entire time you're playing, because some of these debuffs are very bad. But now I want to talk about my favorite thing when it comes to the progression of this game. The reason why your runs even matter to begin with. Alongside your basic overworld progression and character unlocks, there is one more very important reason to do well in your runs. Every time you play, your character's overall run score is saved as an Evo type. Then, the next run you play, you can choose up to 2 of your previous runs to empower your new run. This will give you 2 character-specific assists and buffs that will greatly change how you play the game. They're also only one-time use, so you really gotta be careful and think about which ones are okay to sacrifice. The reason why you want to do well and why your score matters so much is because the higher score your Evo type is, the more unique passives choosing that assist will give you in the next run. Yes, this game becomes an assist fighter, but the assists are based on your past runs. It's such a cool mechanic because now, not only do your runs indirectly empower you via giving you credit points to unlock upgrades, but they also directly empower you as well because the characters you play can and will make a difference when choosing your assist. You can't use duplicates either, so both of your assists have to be different from your character and each other. This also makes you think ahead because if you want to use an assist of a specific character later, you need to have an Evo type, so it's a creative way to force you to actually play more of the roster. It's such a unique choice, and it really makes you think before you play because the assists can work as combo extenders, give you range coverage, allow you to lifesteal, and give you a ton of specific passives based on how well your run went. Ever since I put this game down to work on this video, I've been theory crafting builds in my brain, and I can't remember the last time that any roguelike has triggered that effect. It's such an inspired idea, and the way they go about everything works really, really well. The boss fights are amazing, the characters range from simple grunt to stop shooting me with that laser please, and for what it's worth, this fighting game turned roguelike is a solid addition for anyone who's a fan of either genre, even if the localization requires a bit of work. Now, I'm gonna go grind because my Natsume has been calling my name, and if I don't unlock her by the end of the day, I'm going to explode. I'm probably streaming the game right now, so if you're watching this, there's my stream link on the bottom of the screen. And one more massive shout out to the team behind BlazBlue Entropy Effect. Thank you guys for sponsoring this video. I couldn't even imagine what a fighting game roguelike would even feel like, but this game does it so well that I'm almost shocked it's the first time it's happened. The game is out on Steam right now, and I've linked it in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed this tiny review. I've been thinking about small bonus content to do in between the big videos, so if you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments section below. Okay, I think that's all I gotta say. There's my stream link on the bottom of the screen if you want to see me playing this game live, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.